This is ODAT Chat, your instant connection to recovery and community, one day at a time. This podcast may contain strong language, sexual content, and spiritual truth. Listener discretion is advised.
Welcome to ODAT Chat. My name is Arlina, and I'll be your host. In case you didn't know, ODAT stands for One Day at a Time. And if you haven't yet, don't forget to subscribe on iTunes. And if you could leave a review, that would be fabulous. I just want to say thank you as well to all the listeners. I've been getting such positive feedback. The people who have been guests on the podcast have expressed to me some really amazing stories, feedback that they've gotten because they were guests on the podcast. So I just want to say thank you to all the guests and, thank you to the future people who are going to be on as well. I have quite a lineup coming up, so don't forget to subscribe. I don't want you to miss on any of that. If you're wondering about the purpose of the podcast, what I can tell you is that besides really wanting to clear up a lot of the misconceptions about addiction and recovery, I also wanted to share teachers, ideas, and exercises that have helped me on my own journey over the last 22 years that really fall outside the parameters of a 12-step group. One of the books I'd like to share is a book called The Language of Letting Go by Melanie Beattie. It's a daily meditation book for people dealing with codependency. And honestly, it's my opinion that if you're struggling with any kind of addiction issue, chances are you are also struggling with things like setting boundaries, powerlessness, control, and really all the other issues surrounding codependency. So this is a great daily reader to help remind you of ideas that help you to stay centered and help you to stay peaceful. So there's a link to it on odatchat.com under books. So along with all the other book recommendations. And in this episode, I'll be talking with Caitlin. We go really deep on this one. She was brave enough to share some of her struggles with depression and suicide and how she really came back from the abyss to lead a happy and productive life of recovery and service. There will be show notes on the website. There will be an opportunity for you to leave feedback and comments. And with that, please enjoy this episode with Caitlin. Caitlin, thank you so much for joining the podcast today.
Thank you so much for having me. I'm super excited.
Are you?
Yeah.
We're going to have so much to talk about. We were just chatting about a few topics. We're going to talk about not being a recovering Catholic, but being an actual, healthy, well-adjusted Catholic. Yeah. That's going to be awesome.
Yes.
We can talk about secondary addictions, and I know you're a huge Disney fan.
Yes, that's my new addiction.
That's your new addiction.
Yeah.
Which seems perfectly reasonable.
Totally.
Yeah. And you were married, how long ago was it?
We've been married now a little over a year and a half.
A year and a half.
Yeah.
Okay. So the dust is still settling from the whole wedding planning. And
it feels like I was planning stuff yesterday still. So it's still really fresh in my mind.
Super fresh.
Yeah.
And I'm sure there's lots of valuable lessons from that we can talk about.
Yeah.
Okay. And then if there's still time, we can talk about how you deal with guilt and shame, because I feel like anybody who's alive has a degree of guilt and shame, right?
Yes.
So we can talk about, how that presents for you and how you cope with that. So
Totally.
that's a lot, but why don't we start out with some sort of basic questions so that the listeners can kind of get an idea of who I'm talking to. And
okay.
So how old are you?
I am 28.
You are 28. So you're probably like one of the younger people that I've talked to already. So yay for the youngins! And what do you do professionally?
Right now, I am a paraeducator, which is a fancy word for aide, at a Catholic grade school. So I work with fourth graders.
At the grade school?
Yeah.
For whatever, I thought you were at the high school. Your dad's a high school coach, right?
I actually was at a high school for a year. High school is not my jam. It's not like...
it's not your jam.
No. They're very moody and hormonal and attitudey, and I'm like, people who can be with high school kids, bless you.
Yeah.
I'll take the fourth graders. They're very
so sweet.
They're all nice, yes. And I also do an after school program at the same school. And in that one, I actually work with the junior high kids. And I love junior high kids.
They're still good.
They're still pretty good. They've got a little bit of mood, but you can like bring them down a notch still. And
they're still manageable.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
They're like, I joke with them all the time, and they're like, I just got burned. And I'm like, I know you did.
That's so cute. And this is a Catholic private school,
yes,
right?
It is.
Okay. So that's okay. So they're good kids.
They're good kids. All the schools I've been at they're at relatively good kids. Like
Right.
I've never really had any terrible kids.
Well, and I just realized that sounded super judgy and kind of messed up. But there are some kids that are kind of challenging.
There are.
And I guess those challenging kids are everywhere.
They're everywhere.
But your group of kids, all good.
All good. They're relatively good kids. They have their moments because they're kids, and if they didn't, that'd be weird.
Right.
They were just perfect. I'd be like, what is wrong with you?
Right. Someone's got a battery pack.
Yeah.
Step for
Be
children.
a human.
Yeah. Very cool. Okay. And what is your relationship status, obviously?
I'm married.
You just, married.
Married. June 6th will be 2 years.
Oh my gosh. It'll be 2 years already.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah.
That was a fun wedding.
I've had so much fun at that wedding. Thank you for being there.
Yes, I was so excited to be there. That was such a good time.
It was a lot of work.
That was a lot of work.
Awesome.
I totally want to dig into that. But first, I thought what we would do. Let me just ask you one more question. Are you anonymous about your recovery?
No, everyone knows.
Everybody knows.
Everyone knows.
Okay.
That's just for me.
Yeah.
I have found, because I relapsed actually once because I didn't tell anyone at my job that I was sober. And these are people I used to party with. And so they're like, why aren't you partying? And I mean, there's a whole bunch of stuff that led up to that. And so I was like, I went out with them, and now I'm very open about it. And people at my work know about it and come to me and are like, hey, this friend of mine, what should they do? And I'm like, oh, go here, and here.
Yeah.
And here's my number. If they want to call me, call me.
Yeah, that's the benefit about not being anonymous, is that you're available to help others.
Yeah. I find it also keeps me accountable, and I never break anyone else's anonymity. I just break mine and my husband's because Ryan said it was okay.
Nice. I like that.
Yeah.
Yeah. And how long have you been sober?
4.5 years. So June 24th, will have 5 years.
Wow, June is a big month for you.
Oh, and my regular birthday's in June too.
Holy moly. Well, you know what? You get it all done at once.
It's a great month. I love June.
Everybody loves June.
Yeah.
That's so awesome. What was your primary drug of choice?
Alcohol.
It was alcohol. You didn't do drugs at all?
No, I'm a weird young person.
What?
Yeah.
That's so unusual.
I know.
No weed.
No, I did weed. I did a lot of weed.
Right.
But that was it.
That was not your go-to.
No, it was much easier to get alcohol than it was to get weed, and had to be this is back when it wasn't legal, so it had to be all shady and stuff, and
all right,
going to the Wendy's by Valley Med, and in the parking lot late at night.
That's not your jam.
No, I don't feel it. I want to be drunk by that point. I did a few drugs, but I'm like, ugh, this is stupid.
It was too much of a hassle, and it wasn't worth the fun.
No, it really wasn't. Plus, it costs a shit ton of money.
Yeah.
And I'm like,
is it still super expensive? Because we're in California, and it's 2017, and it's just now becoming legal. But medicinal was legal. Now it's legal for recreational use.
Yeah. I don't know. So $40, I think, for a little bit, which was, I guess, a normal person would last a
normal person
a week, and it lasted me 2 days, and I'm like, I don't get paid enough to be spending.
You're like, I can't afford weed products.
But I can afford that $2 Four Loko in 7-Eleven. That works for me.
Four Loko, that's hilarious.
Oh my god, blackout in a can.
Is it?
Yeah.
Oh my god. Were you a blackout drinker from the beginning?
Oh yes, it's my. If I could put that on a resume, I'd get so many jobs.
Yeah. We have a friend that has a sweatshirt that says former blackout artist.
Yes, that's me.
You totally need that sweatshirt.
I've seen it. It's on Instagram.
Is it?
Yeah, it's the sober company does it. I'm like, I need that.
I'm gonna have to find that resource, and we'll put it on the website.
Oh yeah, I'll show it to you after.
Okay.
Yeah,
that'd be awesome. So why don't we do this? Why don't you kind of give me the whole experience, strength, and hope? We'll take about 10 or 15 minutes, whatever you need, just to sort of, qualify you and then what happened. I think that's always fascinating to me. What happens to people that they decide that this is actually a problem, and then what they do about it. And, we can talk a little bit about what life is like now, and we'll parlay that into a reason to talk about Disney being Catholic and all those things.
I was actually obsessed with alcohol before I ever picked up.
Really?
Yeah.
Why?
I don't know. I mean, I had a really good childhood. My parents are normies.
They are?
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah, they're,
how does that happen?
I don't know. I mean, it runs in my family. I'm half Irish, half Mexican, so, it's still there. Okay. But it just happened to skip my parents. And, but I don't know if people remember TRL on MTV.
Oh, sure.
Yeah. So I'd, come home from school, and there'd be Carson Daly, doing his thing, introducing people. And, I could not wait for the rap videos to come on because that was what I wanted to be. I wanted my life to be a rap music video.
Oh, you wanted to, what do they call those? The video hosts?
Yeah, that's what I wanted to be. I aimed really high. I wanted to be a video vixen.
A video vixen, that's what it was.
And so, those would come on, and, I was kind of an awkward kid, and, had really hard time not connecting to people, but I didn't have a whole lot of friends. I had a little small group. And, those girls on those videos, I'm all the dudes are looking at them. Mm-hmm. They're getting whatever they want, and they look hot as hell. I want that.
Yeah.
And, so, then I'd go into my room, and, 10 years old, I can remember pretending my room was a club, and I was drunk. And I could not wait until the day I could actually do that.
Oh, isn't that funny?
Yeah. It was weird. I don't know how it became... That's what I wanted to do. Mm-hmm. So, and I was actually a pretty good kid all through high school and grade school. I have a crap ton of outside issues, but I was pretty good. I followed the rules. Mm-hmm. And it was especially, I think part of it that made it easier is my mom worked at my high school.
Oh. What high school did you go to? Was it local?
Yeah, I went to Notre Dame San Jose.
Oh, okay.
So it was all girls school. Oh. And then my dad works at the all boys school.
And he kept you away from the boys.
Yeah.
Probably a good idea.
A very good idea. And my dad's this. My dad's 6'7".
He's got enormous.
He really is. He's got this long braid, this big old beard, and so he looks like a scary dude. So as soon as dudes at his school found out that I was his daughter, they're been real, gotta go. Yeah,
you were the pariah.
Yeah, and then my girls at my school, my immediate group of friends actually was not, they weren't partiers, but other girls at my school were yeah, your mom works at her school and she's gonna see us, so no.
We're not hanging out with you.
Yeah. So I think my first real time drinking, I drank by myself. And I got a fairly late start for an alcoholic, 15, 16.
Okay.
I remember I think I drank 2 shots of tequila and a Bud Light.
Such a Mexican.
Such a Mexican.
I can say that because I'm Mexican.
Yeah, such a Mexican. And then, I was this is nothing. So I was but it let me feel a part of, right? So I could go back to school on Monday and be dude, I got so wasted this weekend.
Right. Yeah.
So my drinking started by myself. Which probably should have been
that's kind of sad.
a red flag.
Right.
I was totally fine drinking by myself.
Party one.
Yeah. It wasn't until I graduated high school. I was going to a 4-year university in Denver.
Oh, wow.
That I found I'm really great at blacking out, and it's awesome. A lot of people were I've talked to you, yeah, I hated blacking out. It scared me. I didn't know what I was going to do. And I'm that's how you party. I don't understand.
Yeah, what is the problem?
Yeah. Because for me, I said, I've got this shit ton of other issues. And so my head's constantly talking to me, telling me I'm worth nothing. I should die. Just end it already. And so when I blacked out, things were quiet. And it was awesome. My head just stopped talking, and I stopped feeling like shit for however long it lasted.
Right.
did not last long at that 4-year university. I was asked to leave.
Asked you to leave.
In a very nice way, because I wasn't going to classes.
Yeah, they frown
upon that. And for like $40,000 a year, I should probably have gone to classes.
What year did you leave?
I left officially in 2008.
Okay, and how long had you been there?
Started in fall of 2006. And then I finished my first year there.
Okay, you have one solid year.
I had one solid year. And then the next year, I was actually asked to leave in September. And I came home and I did work at home. I worked at home and lived at home. And then I went back in January. And then I was asked to leave in March of 2008. And I decided not to go back. I think it was really encouraged that I didn't come back.
Was that like academic probation or? Actually,
I was asked to leave because I had attempted suicide on campus.
Oh, you did?
Yeah.
Oh, what preceded that?
So I'm pretty sure I've had depression like my whole life.
Okay.
I can just think about, I think back on my life and I've just been there. I just don't know it without my life without depression.
Right.
And
so it seems normal.
It seems normal. It's a normal thing for me. And then also the thing that really catalyst, I feel like my alcoholism and my, mental health was my very first boyfriend who I had met the second week of college broke up with me. And it was really rough because then all those feelings that came up, he was not the one. We should have not been together ever. But I was crazy. I was crazy. I wanted to drink all the time. I wanted to party all the time. And he didn't. And then when I didn't do those things, I was crazy. I was out of my mind, could not get my mental health in order. And so he broke up with me and it just went downhill real fast.
So did that period of time when you guys were dating, did that give you a bit of reprieve from your depression because you were happy about the relationship?
A little bit. And then it started, maybe, I want to say 3 to 4 months in. We were together 10 months. Uh-huh. I realized, why am I with this guy?
Oh.
I was settling. We both were. We were 18. What did we know?
Right,
and
right.
But I was so scared of losing that love and connection that I didn't want it to end. So I just acted crazy until it ended, until he did it, so he could be the bad guy.
Oh, okay. So what you were really craving was the connection and a sense of belonging.
Yeah, I've had these abandonment issues that I've started to realize since I got sober, and I didn't really know where they were coming from because I was never left as a child. My parents are still together. They've been married 30 years.
Yeah, your parents are pretty cool.
They're pretty awesome. I freaking love my parents.
Yeah.
And when this happened, the sense of no one will love me again. And I'm realizing I couldn't love myself.
Right.
It was with an inside job.
Sure.
So that was that started it. And in 2008, March of 2008, I came home. I got a retail job at Victoria's Secret.
Fabulous.
I know.
You know how to fold underwear really well.
I'm really good at it. And I found a bunch of other people who, weren't they were just working, living at home, doing good stuff, right? But they also like to party. And
like normal people.
Yeah.
Their age.
Right. We were all I started working there when I was 19, right? So we got down.
Yeah.
And that's
what
we did. And however, they did not get down like I did. So, and
you mentioned a little, we were talking earlier about naked stories. You were mentioning. Do you want to share your...
So my thing apparently when I was drinking would be I don't know why I would just get hot and would take off my shirt and walk around naked.
Hey, what's up?
Yeah, not in anything sexual, just just took it off.
Temperature hot.
Yeah, it was just hot. Yeah. So it meant that I should take my shirt off, and I'd constantly wake up
Shirtless.
It's shirtless, and I'm like, damn it, not again.
You had male roommates?
I did. I had male roommates. There was, and they all had relationships and stuff. And so me and this one girl that I worked with shared a room. Like, it was super.
Shared a room?
Yeah. It was super, like, early 20s, like, trying to get, so.
Willing to compromise to get out of your parents'
Yes. So we shared a room. The two guys shared a room, and then there was one guy who lived on the couch.
Oh my God.
And so they would always put me to bed. I'd wake up the next morning, like my guy roommates would put me to bed, and then I'd wake up the next morning, they're like, Caitlin, you did it again. I'm real sorry. Did I hate you? And they're like, no, not this time.
Wow.
I was a fighter too.
Oh, isn't that?
Yeah.
So were you a crier too? Or just
I was a crier. I was a fighter. I was fall down drunk. I was a party girl, and I thought that was normal. Yeah. Because I was 20, 21, ish, and I'm like, this is normal. This is what I'm supposed to do. But other people weren't getting kicked out of the club at 11:30 on their 21st birthday.
Oh man.
Because that's how I rolled.
Yeah. Oh goodness.
Yeah. It was crazy. So that went on. It started as a party, and then these consequences started piling up more and more. I couldn't keep a job. If I wasn't drinking, and I couldn't find alcohol in any way, like, because I was poor and I didn't like to steal, I would sleep. And so, like, the depression came back. So, like, I would sleep all the time, or and then I'd have insomnia, and I'd be up all the time. My head's just running, and, like, and then came the time at my 22nd birthday where this is my favorite story. I had gone to a bar. I had driven over to a bar in Santa Clara, and I lived in kind of close to East Side San Jose, like over.
So that's like a 40-minute drive.
Yeah, it was like not super close.
Yeah. And
I go over there, and I just get blackout drunk. So my friends take me home, but I kind of came out for a second because I remember consciously waiting for them to drive away.
Mm-hmm. Oh.
And then I took my keys and I went back to the bar.
Oh.
I think.
Oh. You're piecing this
together. I'm kind of piecing this together. And then I drove home, and somewhere along the lines of my driving, I hit a curb or something. I blew a tire. Okay. And the next thing I remember is coming out of my blackout because sparks were flying, because I had driven on it so long that I was on the axle.
Oh my God.
Yeah. And then I pulled over, I got home, but it was
You got home?
I got home. I am beyond lucky that I've never once had a run-in with the police.
That is shocking.
It really is, because I was also I was a drunk driver. Every time I drank, I drove. So I'm beyond lucky that I didn't kill anyone, and that I never got arrested.
Wow.
So I come home, sparks are flying, right? And I'm like, I look at the car, and I'm like, well, there goes that tire. Yeah. So for a while, I didn't even have a car, because my parents owned it, and they're like, you're done.
Yeah.
You don't get this anymore.
Yeah.
And so that's kind of when things were starting to get really, really bad. I moved back home with my parents, but continued to party like I could. And at this point, I was still making it to work. Like, when I moved back home, I started to kind of get my life together, and that, like, I could hold a job, and I was working, and I could pay for things, but that obsession was still there, and that, like, depression was still there, like, really bad, like, constantly thinking about dying. And so that's why I drank more, and I continued to drink. And at that point, like, my parents weren't even talking to me. And you see, I posted on Facebook all the time, like, I'm super close with my parents now. Yeah. But at the time, they were not talking to me, and we lived in the same house. And so
Were they aware of your suicidal thoughts?
Yes, they knew the part about stuff in Denver.
Okay.
Did
they think it was situational and that you'd be fine when you got home?
No, actually, when I came home, one of their things was that I had to go to AA. And I went to AA, and all I heard was, I have not done that yet, so I should do that.
Oh, really? Mm-hmm. How old were you then?
19 or 20.
Oh, okay.
And I didn't know where to go. I didn't know anyone sober. Like, I didn't think people got sober young.
Yeah, that's pretty young.
Yeah. And I was like, this is not for me. Like, everything's fine. I always told them, too, I'll calm down after I turn 21. Like, I just need to get to 21 so I can go to bars legally and go to clubs.
Not get in trouble.
Yeah, that didn't happen. And so the first time I tried to get sober, I was actually 23.
Okay.
And I had gone... I had snuck out of my house at 23. Stole.
So funny.
Right.
Grown-ass woman.
Right.
Sneaking out of mom's house.
Snuck out of mom's house. Stole my mom's minivan.
So hot.
So I was living my life. And like went to downtown San Jose because I love because that hood rat part came out of me, right?
The video vixen. Finally, she's like, I can come out.
I have come.
Yeah.
I have arrived, right? And I was like, by the way, I also grew up in Santa Clara, so like the least ghetto place in the world.
Right.
But so snuck out, went to the downtown San Jose, had every intention of not getting wasted. Mm-hmm. A blackout later, I blew another tire.
No.
Yeah, in the minivan.
Oh, your mom must have been so pissed.
Oh, it was awesome. But for some reason, instead of trying to drive home, I pulled over.
Oh, progress.
Yeah. I called my dad. I got out of the car because I was kind of close to a police station in Santa Clara, and actually I was right in where Santa Clara University is.
Sure.
So cops kind of patrol that a lot on the weekends.
Okay.
Because of the students. And so I got out of the car, took the keys out and everything, and at this point actually I knew there was someone in recovery. My godfather.
Oh, uh-huh.
He had gotten into recovery. And but we weren't talking because he had said, I don't even remember why we weren't talking. I think he said something to piss me off, and I was like, I'm out. And like I called him at 3:00 in the morning, and this is something I did often. Like I would call friends and family or text them at 3:00 in the morning saying like, I don't know what is wrong with me. I cannot stop drinking. My life is terrible.
Oh no.
Yeah, like it wasn't fun. I wasn't having a lot of fun towards the end.
And this is in a blackout?
Yeah. And, you know, they would call or text the next morning. They're like, you need to get it together. Like, we can't do this anymore. And I'm like, I don't know what you're talking about. You know, everything's fine. So I called him and left a message. And I'm like, I can't do this anymore. Like, I'm dying inside. Of course, he didn't respond because normal people are sleeping. Sober people are sleeping usually. And, you know, my dad came to get me. There was a lot of yelling. I was woken up early the next morning because I had to go deal with the car that I had crashed again.
Yeah.
And, you know, I had to pay for that and everything. And I'm hungover as hell. At this point, too, my hangovers were lasting more than a day. Oh. They were lasting like 2 or 3 days.
So that's more like alcohol poisoning.
Yeah. That's how much I would drink.
Wow.
Yeah. And I didn't drink every day either. There was a period in time when I did. I had like a spot I went to every single night. Okay. And then, but when I got home, like I was a weekend drinker. Okay. But I did so much, I drank so much in that weekend that like I would get alcohol poisoning regularly.
Right.
So I get my mom. I have this distinct memory of my mom coming in and looking at me and saying, "I don't know who you are anymore." And I was like, "I don't either." So I'm crying and bawling, poor me, all this stuff. And my godfather calls me and he's like, "Are you serious? Are you done?" And I'm like, "I think I am." And he's like, "Cool, I'm coming to pick you up. We're going to a meeting." And so that was my first like real try at getting sober. Okay. And it lasted for about 10 months. Oh. Yeah, I found some friends. I got into the CDRP, Kaiser's outpatient program. I went to meetings. I had a sponsor. Like, I was doing things. Yeah. but I didn't change a lot of my behaviors. So that's,
she says with a smirk.
Yeah. Well, that's
That's a problem.
That's a problem. So like I was still cheating. I was still kind of, for lack of a better word, being a whore. I would steal money from my parents still. I'd lie. Everything was an excuse, but for the most part, things were good, right? So it didn't look.
They were certainly much better than they were before. Yeah. Okay, I get that.
But on the outside, it looked good, and the inside, it still felt a lot like the same. And I was telling you earlier, I went back to this summer job that I had the summer before. I was working with kids at a summer camp, and but all the people there, I had partied really hard with the summer before, and they were all like, they're like, let's go out the first week, and I'm like, no, I don't drink anymore, and they're like, why not? Why don't you drink anymore? What's going on? And I'm like, I just don't do it anymore. So I think this is part of the reason why I'm pretty open now. Yeah. Because it was really hard for me to be like, I just don't.
Yeah, a lot of times people want an explanation.
Yeah. And I couldn't come up with a good enough lie, I guess, at the time.
Right, yeah.
And so then, because I felt ashamed a little bit that I couldn't be this normal person that they all could be.
Yeah.
And so I wanted to fit in. I wanted to be a part of again. And I, like the second week of camp, so this is like the end of June, they're like, we're going to have a house party. I was house sitting for someone, so I wasn't even staying at my parents' house at this time. We're going to have a house party. I'm like, okay, I'll go. And they're like, and I had my little rock stars. Everything was good. And then they were like, we're going to go outside and smoke a bowl. And I'm like, fuck it.
All right.
Pass it to me.
All right.
Because actually, part of the reason I went to weed, too, is because it kept me from drinking. Because people hated me when I blacked out. And I was somewhat tolerable stoned. Mainly because I didn't talk. So,
funny how it sort of shuts it all down.
So, like, I get stoned, and, then there's beer pong, which was my favorite game. I was really good at I don't know. Actually, I don't know if I was good at it. I like to say I was good at it.
Right. A legend in your own mind?
In my own mind. I was great.
That's fabulous at that game.
And so, so then I went on a 2-night bender, and the house I was house sitting at had wine. I drank all of that all day. I was like, yeah, I relapsed. I'm going out. I'm going out hard.
Yeah.
So I drank wine all day, and then, I went to the clubs that night. I got, I couldn't black out like I used to, though.
Oh, isn't that interesting?
Yeah. I don't know why. I don't know if I just, didn't do as much as I used to, or if there was this part of me that was like, this is terrible. Why are you doing this? Go back to AA. Okay. So it only lasted 2 days, and I went back, and so 2 days before I turned 24 was my new sobriety date.
Okay, and that's your current sobriety.
That's my current sobriety date.
Okay.
Yeah, and it's been a whirlwind ever since of good things, mostly.
Good things. Yeah.
Yeah.
Stuff like weddings.
Stuff like my biggest thing was at first. So when I got sober again. I still wasn't working on a lot of my issues, so I was still suicidal and stuff. And
you were. Were you on medication for that?
I wasn't at the time. Now I am, and things are going good.
And that works.
It does. It does for me.
Do you do therapy too?
I didn't for a long time because they wanted. I also have PTSD, and they wanted to talk about my PTSD, and I really didn't want to get into that in new sobriety, so. I didn't, and then I met Ryan, and things were going off and good, and so I was like, and so now I am in therapy.
What's the origin? You don't have to share this if you don't want to, but can you share what the origin of the PTSD was from?
Yeah, I actually have, and I don't mind sharing this, but I have 2 things. The first one was in my childhood, where I was sexually abused by a family member.
Okay. Did your parents know about it?
They didn't know about that until I came back from Denver, because they were like, something is going on.
Yeah.
And then in a blackout, while I was home, I somehow got to Fremont. I think I was taken by this guy. My friends told me I was in front of iguanas, and then I wasn't in front of iguanas in downtown San Jose.
Oh, the restaurant.
The restaurant.
Yeah.
And woke up with this dude on top of me.
Wow.
Yeah, and had to figure out how to get back to San Jose.
Oh my God, how frightening.
Yeah, and the only number I knew, because I didn't have my cell phone, was my dad's. And I had to call my dad.
Say, come get me.
Yep.
Yeah.
So that sucked. So those are like the origins of those. And I think the sexual abuse as a child, too, that started like all those kind of feelings that I wanted to mask with alcohol. It worked for me.
Do you feel like that? How old were you when that happened?
6 to maybe 10 or so.
Oh my gosh, so it was over a 4-year period.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
And your parents didn't know.
Mm-mm. And it was, you know what? It wasn't like one of those Law and Order SVU like shows where they like the person like threatens to kill them or their family, and that's what keeps the child quiet. For me, it was my parents had instilled in me, especially, and it happened on my dad's side of the family, especially in my dad, that family was important and family was everything, and I didn't want to ruin the family.
Because in our society, sex offenders become pariahs. And I think this is kind of an interesting dynamic. What we do in our society is that girls cannot be honest about what's going on because the consequences are potentially life-ending for the offenders. And if it's somebody who is loved or has a position in society, you know, people are very vocal about, if something ever happened to my daughter, I would kill the person who did it. So for you to be open and honest about what happened, you're basically signing someone's death warrant,
right?
I'm sure, in your own mind.
Right, and that's what it was, and I couldn't break up the family. Like, for some reason, my little 6-year-old head had wrapped around that. And even later, when like it would pop up in my head, like before I started drinking, I was like, I can't do that. I cannot do that to my family.
Right. And there was no way for you to put an end to it? Like you couldn't make it stop?
No.
Obviously not. I mean, I don't mean to imply.
No. It was, I thought it was normal.
Okay.
I guess.
Yeah.
I thought it was just the dynamic that we had. And I think I had this feeling of I'm special. I was chosen.
Yeah, I get that.
Which is really twisted, but that's just...
But we don't know it's twisted.
We don't... It's a 6-year-old... now I work with kids, right? So a 6-year-old brain would not know that. A 10-year-old brain would not know that.
Right.
So, yeah.
And I think it's so confusing because once that switch gets flipped on, there's no shutting it off. So there's this... I had a sort of similar experience. It wasn't a family member, but I was awakened sexually by a neighbor girl when I was really young.
Yeah.
Like 4 or whatever, 5. And it's confusing because there's a sense of power in that energy. Yeah. And then once the switch gets flipped on, you can't pretend that you don't know what you know. Right. Right. And so it's easy to and then you have to find a way to make it right in your mind. Because I grew up in the church like you did. Yeah. So there's a feeling like it's wrong and it makes you feel dirty and ashamed and guilty and all that stuff. But at the same time, it's like the forbidden fruit. Right. I don't know what it is, but it's a whole messed up dynamic. Yeah. It should be not in your awareness when you're 6 years old.
No, it shouldn't. And it really is all of those things.
So confusing.
So very confusing.
Let me ask you something. I'm sorry to interject
totally.
Here, but somebody who's working with children, I learned later that girls who are promiscuous are that way. Those girls that are promiscuous, like 9.9 times out of 10 were molested or abused sexually in some way. So has that been your experience as well? Like, do you see that play out at school?
There are some times I could see. I'm happy to say I don't see it often.
Right.
Which is always awesome. But I've seen there's been certain girls that I've worked with where I'm like, something's going on, because this is not how a traditional 12-year-old or 11-year-old should be acting.
Right. They're trying to grow up too quick.
Yeah. And I'm like, I can't even blame it like on social media or any of that people like to blame it on these days. I was like, something has to happen. And the only reason I could say that is because I know how they feel. Like, I could see it in them.
Yeah.
So yes, I have seen it. And like I said, it hasn't been often, which I'm thankful for.
Right. Yeah. I always, now that I'm older and I understand what's going on, I have a lot of compassion for girls who act out promiscuously. It's a sign that something's going on.
Yeah.
So it does, but it's only unless you've been there can you really recognize it and have compassion for it.
Right. I've seen other adults be upset with these students for the way they act, and they tend to
punish or shame.
Yeah.
Which adds to it.
Just adds to it. It's just like you're telling her she's a terrible person.
Yeah.
When she's not. She doesn't know. Like, something happened. People don't act like this without something happening. Like, you're just not born that way.
You typically don't come to it on your own that early.
No.
Yeah. So we were going to talk a little about guilt and shame. So how does that... so it sounds like that was sort of some of your original harms, let's say.
Yeah.
That was kind of at the root of your addiction and caused the masking. How does that guilt and shame still come up for you today?
Yeah. There has been times where it has come up. A lot of my guilt too has now transferred over to the fact that I got kicked out of college for my actions and wasted on my parents' money, and I want to be working in education and I don't have a degree. So I'm feeling shameful that I'm 28 and still a teacher's aide, basically. Right. Yeah. I have a lot of guilt. I don't have it as much anymore. I used to have through working steps. It's worked out for me. I used to have a lot of guilt and shame and anger towards myself for letting those things happen.
Right. That's a very common.
Yeah. And I didn't. When you're a child and you have that power taken away from you, like, that's not something that I wanted, right? That's not something that I said, hey, let's do this. And the time in my 20s, that one's still really hard for me, because I feel like it is my fault in that if I hadn't drank the bottle of Bacardi to myself, that wouldn't have happened. I have, it comes up in other things. It comes up in my relationships. I feel like sometimes I feel that guilt and shame of not being, I don't know if it's like that dirtiness. It was really hard for me when I first started dating Ryan to like feel like it was okay to date him, and it was okay to be with him. Right. Like, it came down a lot to my self-esteem, really. Sure. It came down a lot to that I could not look myself in the mirror for a while when I got sober. And I had to do a lot of work around that. A lot.
So when you say you had to do a lot of work, does that mean you were like working a lot of steps and in a lot of service?
I worked a lot of steps. My first sponsor was amazing. We had a similar story. She really got me. And it was a lot of and I actually have to also say, the therapist I had at CDRP, usually at CDRP, like, you meet with your case manager like once a month or something while you're there. Mine was like, we're meeting every week. And she was a therapist, so we worked a lot on that too. But it was a lot of things that I hated to do that I know when I was new, like, it sounded silly to want to do,
Like
but
what?
like a lot of affirmations.
Oh, uh-huh.
Like a lot of look in the mirror and tell me and write 3 things that you like about yourself, about your appearance. And I'm like, oh God, please don't make me do that.
Right.
A lot of gratitude lists around me, and a lot of, because I'm that alcoholic. I have that reverse ego, so I'm constantly down. Like I'm never
equal.
I'm never equal.
Got it.
And I've never been above anyone. Like I've always been below them.
Pride reverse.
Yeah. Yes.
That's a weird concept. It took me a while to get that.
It did, but I think when my first sponsor told me that, I was like, oh, yeah, that's me.
Yeah.
Because it's still about me, but I want to be so small and make my light so dim that no one else can see it.
Right.
Because I'm so ashamed of the past and the life that I used to have. I've gotten much better at it.
Yeah.
I still have my moments because, of course, I do.
You're human.
Yeah.
Yeah. Still early.
Yeah. But that whole first year sober, that's kind of what I worked on a lot.
Yeah, it's amazing those little exercises. They seem so frivolous or not to have depth and weight, but it's like a muscle that we've never exercised. You know, we've spent a lot of time talking about our negative self-image.
Yeah.
But it's like a slow beginning to focusing on the positive aspects of ourselves. Both are always present.
Right.
Right. And both are equally true.
Right.
But some present more than others because I feel like, what you think about, you bring about.
Yeah.
It's easy to get into that spiral.
Yes.
The negative one. But you know what? The good news is that it's just as with like the same practice of the, I don't know if I want to call them a principle, but it's like that same structure. If whatever thought you hold in your mind and repeat to yourself, it's like I read this book about the subconscious mind, and it's like the blind justice scales. It'll believe anything that you tell it. Yeah. And so it was explained to me that it's like on the scale is the positive affirmation is the pebble on the positive side. Yeah. And every time you say it, starts to shift the balance of the scale so that you do start feeling more positive. And that's the same thing with like the gratitude lists. And you start focusing on the positive, and it really turns your brain around like on a neuro pathway that changes behavior. And it's like a really it takes a while to turn the ship. Yes, it does. But you're almost 5 years out now. Yeah. And that first year was like, so I'm doing all this work, right? And it's awesome, and I'm like feeling great. And then like the last few years have been like, the fuck? Like, who am I? What am I doing? Like, I've struggled a lot. I have, right after the wedding, and like, I had this whole year of planning and everyone paying attention to me. Oh, I know. It's so great. I love it. Yeah. I mean, I loved it and I hated it at the same time, but it was great. Like, everyone was like talking to me and like wanted parties for you. Yes. Hang out and plan stuff with you.
Wanted to know things about me, wanted to like talk to me about it. And and then like it was done.
I know, it's such a letdown, right?
Yeah, and like I have this awesome husband. I've got like my little French bulldogs, my little furry children, so and it was really hard. Like there was one time, I don't know. So it was like a year. Yeah, so in
a year after you were married?
No, like a couple months after we got married, like maybe that September or October time, around there. Where I locked myself in my house one day because I was like, if I go outside, I'm going to the liquor store and I'm getting a bottle and I'm drinking it all. Wow. So at that point, I was like, I need to do some work again. Like things are not just.
This is maybe not normal.
Yeah. And so at that point, I got a new sponsor and we started working the steps again and peeling back those layers again. Right, yeah. And realizing I still had a lot of resentment towards myself. A lot of it. and working through that again. And now I'm coming out of it, and like things are pretty good again. But it was like, I thought I already did all of this. Why am I doing it again?
Yeah, it's kind of funny, right? It's like we kind of, it's that spiral. It's like we keep coming back to it.
Yeah.
Sometimes you can get to a deeper level to get it all, to exercise it all out.
Yeah.
But it does seem to go on the same track. It's always the same issues.
Yeah.
Either at a deeper level or
yeah,
when you feel safer or stronger enough to get to the next level, then it comes out.
Yeah, it just keeps coming out. It's like,
you're so brave, Caitlin, really.
Thank you.
And I really appreciate you talking about like the suicide stuff. People aren't really that open.
I found in my recovery, if I'm not open about these things, one is a secret that I keep inside me, and secrets are dangerous for me. And
you're only as sick as your secrets.
Yeah.
This is very true.
And then two, I know I appreciate when people are honest, and so if my honesty helps even a person a tiny little bit,
yeah,
then my job is not done, but I have done my job, right? It's
I don't know about that.
It's not done, but
Yeah.
I
that's the goal, though. Is
Yeah.
like we connect, we help other people through our experience, and
Yeah.
that contributes to the healing, and that matters.
Yeah.
I really don't know any more noble purpose than to help somebody along with their healing,
right.
So,
And I've felt these great connections with women that I've worked with by being open, and them being able to like look back at me and say, I have felt that way as well.
yeah. That's a magical part
Oh
of
my God,
recovery, right?
that was the greatest thing that during my first it was my second fourth step, with my sponsor that I had got after I relapsed. I was just telling her it was like 3 pages of just myself.
Oh wow.
Yeah, it's like that's how bad I can get. And she just looked at me and she was like, "Oh, honey, I felt that way too." And she's like, "If you keep going and we keep doing this, you won't feel like that all the time. It will start to get smaller and smaller, and things will be okay." And I believed her, and it's true. It's true.
It's come true.
It has come true. Like I said, I will always have my moments because I'm not perfect.
Right.
But I know what to do now. I know how to get out of my head without a bottle.
It's your new coping mechanism.
It is.
Yeah.
And that's been really important for me. I can't speak for anyone else, but that's been a huge part of my recovery.
Right.
Is not, I was going to say focusing on me, but that sounds selfish. But like focusing on my inside.
You do have to focus on a level of self-care in a balanced way, right?
Right.
Like recovery is about balance.
It's like learning what self-care is and not just being selfish.
Right.
There
is such a difference.
I found that out too.
Yeah.
Realizing that. I was like, what is the balance? Like, and figuring that out.
Yeah.
Self-care for me is sometimes not talking to people and just decompressing and like hanging out with my dogs.
Yeah.
Or self-care for me is getting my ass out of the house,
right,
so I don't isolate and feel locked up. Like, it just kind of depends on what I need.
Yeah. Emotional sobriety is about balance.
Oh, it really is. I didn't know. I remember people being like, when I first got sober, "Oh, emotional sobriety." I'm like, what is that?
Yeah.
I just don't want to drink.
I know.
And then they're like, this emotional sobriety. And I'm like, oh, that's fine. I got that under control.
Yeah.
Not yet. Still working on it. But it's okay. It's so much better than it was.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
And it's like you have some fun things in your life too. We were kind of joking around about switching addictions. But I don't know. I like to think of your Disney obsession as a fun thing, as a positive outlet.
It really is.
Tell me about like so I was just at breakfast with somebody, and I was like, I'm gonna talk to Caitlin. He's like, oh, you gotta ask her. David Collins.
Oh yeah.
You have to ask her about the Disney thing. It's a whole subculture. It's fascinating.
It really is. So part of my love for Disney and Disneyland and everything has come from my mom. So we didn't go on a whole lot of
family
vacations, but we'd go to Disneyland Not often. We go so much more now. But like growing
How
up,
often do you go now?
I have to go at least once a year.
Oh, okay, once a year. That's not bad.
But before I met Ryan, I was going like 3 times a year.
Okay, yeah, that's nearly quarterly.
Yeah,
That's like,
but
every 4 months.
now it's like, you know, expensive and I'm paying for it. So I'm like, I guess I can't go that much.
Right.
Before, my mom was still like super happy that I was sober and stuff. And she's like, I'll pay for you. And I'm like, yes. But so like, I get it from my mom because she would tell me, my mom grew up in Southern California and she's one of 7.
Oh my God.
Yeah, she's number 6 out of 7. And she would talk about how like her dad, my grandpa would take her to Disneyland, like her and her younger sister, or like just her. And like she would have these magical times and stuff, and
It's the magical kingdom.
it really is, right? And it was this connection she had with her dad and her family, and then we would go, and it was the same thing. So like my dad doesn't ride any of the rides because he's too big to fit in them.
Are you serious? He's too tall?
He that's his own like anxiety about it, but he is like, I'm gonna fall out, but he loves to go to Disneyland. He will spend the money for the ticket just to sit there and watch me, my sister, and my mom have an amazing time.
That is so funny.
Yeah, he loves it. And so like, it's my new escapism, right?
Right, yeah.
Like
Once a year doesn't seem that bad. But what is it really? Is it like the planning and anticipation?
No, it's the walking through the gates the first time, like your first day there, and everything is magical and different, and it's just like warm, cozy home feeling for me. It's like me walking into a meeting for the first time, right? It's like
this connection, belonging.
Yes. Everyone else, it's so much fun. I know like all the history about it. I know like I get to see where like Walt Disney actually walked. I get to see the plants he actually planted, and I point them out.
Really?
Yeah.
He planted plants there?
Yeah.
They're still there?
They are still there.
What kind of plants? Like trees?
No, they're these like little tiny plants. I have no idea what they're called actually. But it's on the Storybook Land ride where you ride through the whale.
Okay.
And they'll be like, these are plants that Walt actually planted. And I'm like, I know. I know everything.
That's so cool.
I love going with people I haven't gone with before because I'm like, hey, did you know about this? And they're like, no, tell me. Maybe it's a sense of superiority, too, that I get.
That's the one place that you can go where you're not less than.
Yeah.
And you feel comfortable being
in
a superior position.
And I do. That's like my one ego booster.
Yeah.
And it's also the one place I can go where I'm okay being by myself. Most of the time I need to be around people.
Yeah.
Even if I don't talk, like I can be in a corner. But if there's people around,
you're all good.
I'm good. But this is the one place where I can go. I'm like, I'm going to go over here. And I'm not on my phone. And I'm not like thinking about other things. I'm just
being
there. Which I would like to eventually incorporate into the real world.
Like being fully present in the moment, seeing things as they are.
Yeah. Catching every little detail. It truly is my obsession. And, you know, I think since 2005, I've gone every year at least once.
Okay.
Ticket prices have gone up majorly since then. But
have they? What are they now?
Oh God, it's like, I think to get like a 2-day pass in between both Disneyland and California Adventure is like almost $300
for 2 days.
Yeah,
$250 a day.
Yeah,
wow.
Yeah, that's where
I haven't been since the kids were like little. So for a good 5 or 6 years.
Oh yeah, no, I'm there.
I know, it makes me want to go back. No, all this.
Oh, I love it.
All the junk food.
Yeah. Oh, the junk food. Oh, the wonderful junk food. The popcorn is amazing. I don't know what it is about buying a $20 like commemorative bucket.
I can remember. Do you have those all over at your house?
I don't have those, but I collect pins.
Oh yeah, of course.
Yeah.
And the lanyards.
Yeah. But I have a lot of those. We've spent a good amount of money on those. So I
heard the whole thing about trading the pins.
Oh yeah, I don't like to do that. I spend money on those. I'm keeping them.
Oh, okay.
But like I started a collection with my parents and my family, and then now me and Ryan have started our own collection.
That's hilarious.
And we will...
Do you wear more than one lanyard at a time?
I only have one right now. You know what? Actually, they're really friggin' heavy when they have all those pins on them.
Super covered.
Yeah, and then they like poke you and stuff, and I'm like, I'm trying to ride a ride, man.
You're just trying to have a good time.
Yeah,
it's a pain in the butt.
It really is, but it looks pretty when I put it on a wall.
Yes. Oh, on a wall. Of course.
Oh my god!
I'll see my lanyard. It's $3,000. That's like some women have the Pandora bracelets. You have Disney.
No, and look at this is what Ryan gave me. It's a Haunted Mansion.
Dooney Burke. Oh my gosh, that's amazing.
Yeah, but I only have Disney things.
Okay.
Like that's my
life.
life.
Have to take a picture and put it on.
Yeah. That's what I do. I spend a lot of money. Like I have so many things like kids at my school know, so like for Christmas or the end of the year they'll give me Disney things.
Oh my gosh.
And like coworkers know, and so they'll give me Disney things. So we're like redoing our office right now. And I'm like, so...
At home or...?
At home.
Okay.
At home. Mm-hmm. And so I'm like, so I have to put all these Disney things up. And Rand's like, what about my stuff? And I'm like, I don't understand. What stuff?
I do not understand the words that are coming out of your mouth.
You don't have stuff. Go put it somewhere else. He's like, can we compromise? Well, that's what you get to learn in relationships. It's compromising.
Yeah, it's marriage.
Well, that's stupid. I just want my Disney crap up. Like, can't you just let me have my stuff?
So do you get a section?
I do. We've figured out.
Does he have, like, baseball stuff?
Yeah, so he's got, like, a bunch of... like, he'll have his baseball Giant stuff, his 49er stuff, I guess, that can go up. You know, he goes to the Wednesday men's meeting in Los Gatos, right? Yeah. So Boiled Owls. So he's got a bunch of owl stuff.
Oh, really?
Yeah, he loves owls.
Interesting.
And so I'm like, so his stuff is all like mix match, and mine's just Disney.
Disney. And you have Disney tattoos?
I do.
How many do you have now?
I just have the one Disney tattoo.
Oh, one. Okay,
but it's
a big one.
Ginormous.
How big is it?
It takes up my whole thigh right now.
Entire thigh.
It's not done yet because I'm going to do my whole leg.
Okay, just one leg?
I'm going to do this whole leg, my right leg, and Sleeping Beauty is my favorite movie. Oh. So it's going to be the whole movie.
Something was funny about Sleeping Beauty is I did not, you see it as a kid and you're like, stepmother's scary, everyone's scary.
Yeah.
And as an adult, you go, oh my God, that stepmother had the henchman go out, unless I'm not...
it was not her stepmom, but the dragon...
You know what? I think I'm confusing it with Snow White.
It's okay. I'll let it slide.
Oh, yeah, I'm so sorry. Don't judge me on my Disney knowledge. Snow White, her stepmom sends a henchman to cut her heart out.
I know.
Man, like, Disney's so hardcore. That's dark.
Disney, like early Disney stuff is super dark. Fun fact, the crows in Dumbo are collectively just called Jim Crows. Right?
They are?
Yeah.
And that applies to racism in the current day.
So that's another whole thing.
Why? I
think it was in the 50s.
We're digressing a little bit.
Yeah, I'm sorry.
I don't understand the Jim Crow reference in general.
Oh, that Jim Crow laws were a thing in the South.
Okay.
And so they had
like civil rights.
Yeah, they had... But it was like a straight up racist thing because
it's like the black and the white fountains and bathrooms and those were the Jim Crow.
Yeah,
was Jim Crow black or white? He's black.
I don't even know. I should ask my history teacher, Dad.
Your dad's a history teacher?
He is.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
Okay. These unanswered questions.
All these things, the things I need to ask. But yeah, so that's what I've
taking notes.
Switched my addiction to. Disney. Random Disney facts for you.
But it's something you could really sink your teeth at. Listen, so you know me. I have nail polish fetish, right?
Yeah.
I do all my own nails. And I don't know if you've noticed lately that it's sort of diminished because I have podcasting obsessions.
Yeah.
I feel like switching addictions is really common in sobriety, right?
Yeah.
We have all this energy and it has to get out somehow.
Right. Some people can throw it all into their work and be awesome at work, and some people smoke a lot. I go to Disney.
I go to
Disneyland.
I always think, if I could just get addicted to work and exercise.
Oh God, that'd be great. I'm too busy looking up random facts about things that I don't need to know about.
Right? Isn't that funny?
Yeah.
But you've been on this Disney thing for a long time.
Oh yeah, I mean, like I grew up with Disney, like.
Oh, okay, so that's a part of your.
So it is a part of me, but like when I was drinking, like I had no time for that.
Interesting.
Also, when I was drinking, and we would go there in California Adventure, the park across the way.
Sure.
Served alcohol, so I would just get trashed in Disneyland. So
Oh no,
that was. Don't remember those times very well.
Right, another dark period.
Yeah.
Disney had its dark period, so did you. That's funny. And listen, this is kind of super awkward, rough segue because I'm not great at this yet. But I wanted to ask you about the being Catholic part.
Yeah.
So in the rooms, people often talk about being a recovered Catholic.
Yeah.
You know, listen, we clearly talked about having guilt and shame.
Yeah.
That's sort of situational. That's unrelated. But what's it like for somebody who is happily Catholic and finds, being a Catholic to be a source of inspiration and nourishment and, community and like spiritual fortitude? How does that make you feel like in the rooms when people bash your religion? It seems like the one religion everybody bashes.
Everyone does. It's like I was saying earlier to you before we started, it so bums me out when people are like, I'm a recovering Catholic, and all those nuns that used to beat me and all that shit, and I'm
molesting
like,
priests
and I'm like, all right, so they weren't perfect, but I get that. I'm not trying to sweep any of that. That shit happened. Like it was terrible, and I can't believe those things happened.
Right.
But I didn't grow up that way.
Right. That was not your experience.
That was not my experience. My parents are actually, quote unquote, pretty liberal Catholics.
Mm-hmm.
Meaning we don't follow. We never
use birth control.
Yeah. Yes, yes, we did. My mom was like I don't know, when I had bad acne, they're like, maybe we should get you birth control. Like it was never like something that we didn't talk about. Like,
okay.
My parents talked to, my mom
They're pretty open.
Yeah, I learned about abortion, and my mom's like, if that's something that someone needs to do, that's fine. Like she wasn't. My parents.
That's between them and God.
Yeah. It wasn't. We weren't a strict Catholic family, but we took parts of the Catholic faith that my parents really believed in, that I kind of really believe in too still, and made that ours. So no, I don't agree with everything the church says. Like,
right.
I believe in a woman's right, and that's the big one. I believe in gay marriage. I believe in gay families. All of that, those are fundamental rights that I think people should have.
Those are human rights.
Those are human rights. But, the Catholic Church is also super about social justice and, helping out your fellow man. That's why I love this new Pope. He's friggin' awesome.
So cool.
Ugh, I love him.
I'm not Catholic, but I'm all about him.
Yeah, he's the greatest. He's also a Jesuit, and I love the Jesuits.
Okay.
But, and it was the helping of others. That was a big thing.
That's what got you.
That's what I've always gotten from being Catholic. Mm-hmm. I remember we used to live over by Santa Clara University when I was growing up, and right where all those kind of janky hotels are.
Sure.
Where they get raided often, those ones.
Yeah.
But there was a woman, and she came to our door, and she was living in one of those hotels with her child, because it was pay by day kind of, one of those cheap ones. She's like, I have no food. Is there anything you can do? My mom said, hold on. She got me. We went to the pantry and the fridge, and we gave her a huge bag of non-perishables. Mm-hmm. That's what we did.
Right.
That's why I love being a Catholic. I do. And not that it's just Catholics that do that, right?
But that's where you learned it.
But that's where I learned it.
So it has a special place.
Yeah. I went to Catholic school my whole life. I also grew up in a time where nuns are not a thing anymore, really.
We don't really see nuns, huh?
No, I know some. My mom worked with some at Notre Dame, so some Sisters of Notre Dame, I know some of them. Okay. And they're the most liberal, free, hippie, loving, find faith how you find it kind of people in the world. Yeah. And
do you think that's a California thing?
It could be.
Yeah, it's hard to say.
It is hard to say. I think that's another thing. I grew up in a pretty liberal area.
We're in California.
We're in the Bay Area. Like, you don't get much more liberal than here.
Right.
I don't know. Like, my parents didn't push church on me. My parents were constantly telling me, God is not only found in a church because someone says it's there. God is found everywhere. So find it in people, find it in nature, find him in nature, find him. He's with you constantly. Yeah. And so if you think that you can only like have your sins or whatever forgiven in church, that's not true. Yeah. So I didn't, like I said, I didn't grow up with like nuns batting my knuckles because they didn't know how to teach and they didn't know how to get people to pay attention.
Jerks.
Yeah. Like, and that's just not the thing anymore.
Right.
And so, and it hasn't been for a while.
For a long time.
Minus the terrible priest scandal a couple years ago, or whatever, how many years ago. Yeah. That's like the big thing that's happened recently.
Yeah, that's still coming out.
Yeah. I just haven't seen that. Being Catholic for me is not about preaching it and pushing it on other people, but it's living like I do when I'm sober, living these principles before personality. Yeah, and living them in my daily life wherever I go. I'm actually sponsoring one of my friends. When you're an adult, you can be, if you choose to become Catholic, you have to get a sponsor to kind of like guide you through being Catholic. So I'm sponsoring her, and she's like, it's Lent right now. And so she's like, what is Lent all about? And so like I'm explaining it to her, and I'm like, look, I'm not traditional. Like, I eat meat on Fridays. Who cares? God doesn't give a damn. Like, it's fine. It's fine. If you want to, if you don't want to, that's fine too. Do what you want. I don't really care. Right, yeah. And the big thing with Lent is people are always like, well, what are you giving up?
Right, yeah. It's the idea is that you sacrifice something for how long is it?
40 days.
Oh, I was right.
Yeah.
Yes, Bob was asking me.
Yes, it's very...
sacrifice something for 40 days.
It's very symbolic. The Bible loves 40.
What is... Yeah, because that's like the Noah's Ark was... Yeah. Where it rained 40 days and 40 nights.
I don't know. Like, I guess the writers just thought 40 was a really big number at the time, is what I feel like. And so they're like, 40 sounds good. Right. They were in the desert for 40 years. Right. Bitch, please. No, they weren't. Right. Or you lived to be like...
Maybe it felt like 40 years.
It was like a year. They didn't have clocks back then. They didn't know.
Right.
No, so my thing and what I grew up with, too, with this sacrificing thing is how is giving up candy going to make you a better person? Like, that's really what you're trying to be in these 40 days.
Okay.
What are you going to do with that? So if you get down to like what real Catholics do, if they don't eat that candy for 40 days, they're supposed to take the money that they save from that and give it to the poor.
Okay.
I can tell you a bunch of people don't do that.
Okay.
So I was telling my friend, I was like, I don't give up a material thing. So what I'm giving up or attempting to is gossiping and talking shit about people all the time, because it's kind of one of my favorite pastimes.
Character assassination.
It really is. I'm really bad at it. So much fun. So, like, that's what I'm giving up, because what does that do other than make me feel good for 5 seconds?
And then we feel like crap later, because we have to pick up that prize tag.
Yeah.
It's like...
And well, what is it going to do for me to tell you about how terrible this person is? Like, I don't know. They're terrible. They were terrible to me once, and so I hate them. Like, no.
That's not spiritual.
No. And so, like, that's what I'm trying to do. I was like, these 40 days are supposed to make you better.
Right.
And find a way closer to God.
Right.
Which I'm all about. Even if I wasn't Catholic and I was still in this program, I would still be all about God.
Yeah, it just sounds like it's just a misconception.
It is. People think Catholic and they think the old school. Yeah. Oh, you had nuns
Guilt
that,
shame.
You're going to hell. And I'm like, well, possibly. I don't know.
I don't think so.
I think I've turned my life around pretty good. Like, God's there for me and stuff.
Yeah.
And I love the ones where people are like, yeah, well, I don't understand a religion that says a baby's going to hell if he's not baptized. And I'm like, pump the brakes.
Right.
those are crazy Catholics, just like there's crazy Jewish people and crazy crazy Christians, whatever. There's crazy everything. Yeah, everyone's fucking crazy. Yeah, it's fine.
It's fine. Let's move on, people.
Yeah, but I'm like,
don't pin that on the Catholics.
Yeah, I'm like, okay, let's just hold up here.
Yeah,
and I'm like, those kind of things are really. It really makes me upset when people get up and start bashing Catholics at meetings or the religion, because it
seems to be pretty common. It seems to be widely accepted. Like, everybody giggles about it.
I know, and I'm like,
can we just focus on the good part? Yeah. It's like AA is not perfect,
right? Nothing is perfect in this world, so because you know why? Humans get involved,
right? Yeah.
That's my thing, and. And, you know, when I first got sober, I used to, when people would be like, I'm a recovering Catholic, I would be like, yeah, so am I, because I so desperately wanted to fit in.
Yeah. Oh.
And
you're in recovery, and you are a Catholic, but you're not recovering from being Catholic.
Yeah. And you know what? I also don't bring any type of religion up at meetings, because it says so not to.
Right.
Right?
Yeah.
So I hate that it's always okay for people to bring up the Catholic religion and say how terrible it is.
Yeah, it's
I'm like, that's messed up, man.
Yeah.
Just be nice. Jesus was all about peace, love, and happiness. Come on. He was the ultimate hippie.
He was the ultimate.
Yeah.
He had long hair and sandals.
Yeah. So he hung out with whores. Like, he's the greatest. Just chill it on out.
Yeah. That's so funny.
That's where I'm at with that.
Yeah.
But yeah, I found, too, being sober has helped me come back to my faith a little bit more.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
And you seem to be very tolerant of people, and, like, people are going to talk smack about being Catholic or whatever, but you can still hold that in your heart and not take it personally.
Yeah. I mean, when I was younger, so, 5 years ago, like, I was the kind of person who, you said something messed up, I was on you.
You had to fight about it.
And now I'm like, whatever, dude. Think whatever the fuck you want. I don't have time for you. I've got to deal with my own shit.
Right.
Like, that's kind of where I'm at. Like, think what you want to think. It doesn't affect me. But if you start bashing me personally, then we're gonna have issues.
Then we're gonna have a problem.
But right now, like, if you hate it, you hate it. I'm not gonna change your mind about it.
Right.
I have been to people though, like, can you just not, like, bash it around me? Like, it's something kind of close to my heart.
Yeah, especially if it's a friend.
Yeah, and like, and people
setting
are
boundaries.
Yeah,
that's important.
Oh God, boundaries are hard.
Yeah, they are. Hard.
And people, for the most part, have been pretty respectful about it. And if they're not, that's shown me that they're not someone I really need in my life.
Yeah, we have plenty of people that we can spend. I don't have time for the people that I love.
Right.
So I'm certainly not going to be wasting time on people that are going to give me a hard time.
Oh yeah. Totally. That's a realization I've come to in the last year.
Yeah, I'm really grateful that we have such an abundance of really cool people around here.
Oh, I know.
Yeah.
We are so beyond lucky with the program we have here.
Yeah.
It's I went to, even in, like, other big cities, I was down in San Diego, like, visiting family, and I went to a meeting, and I'm like, you guys don't do it right.
I know. But that seems to be a recurring theme.
But it was just, if the community, I was looking at their meeting list, I'm like, there's maybe 50? I'm like, this is a big town. How do you only have 50 meetings?
Right, yeah.
We're so beyond lucky here with, like, the 500 we have or whatever.
I know, we have a lot.
We have a lot.
Super grateful.
I think that might be one of the reasons I like staying here. Like, it's beyond. Have you guys
thought about moving?
We have. It's
because it's so expensive to live here, but
I'm like,
there's a reason.
I was trying to convince Ryan to move back to Denver. And I was, like, looking at the meetings there, and I was like, damn, they're all over. Like, they're far too. It's not like somewhere close. Like, so we live in Santa Clara now. So, but even there's meetings right there.
Yeah.
And I'm like, I can always get to a meeting here.
Yeah, that's always.
And I appreciate that, and I get to be in gratitude about how lucky we are.
Yeah.
And the amount of resources and people with long-term sobriety here.
Right.
That's what I have always looked up to.
Yeah.
I remember going to was it your 20th?
Yeah.
Yeah, and I was like, fuck, she has 20 years?
20 years.
That is crazy.
I know. I was like, talk about guilt and shame. It's like I turned 20 and I was like, oh my God, I can't believe I'm not better at this. How come I'm not better? I thought I was going to be super stoked. Yeah. No, I was like, oh, why am I not better?
We get down on ourselves.
That was such a surprise because I felt like I'm pretty fucking fabulous most of the time.
I think you're fucking fabulous.
Right? So obnoxious. But you know what I mean?
Yeah, no.
Yeah.
For me too, it's that attention being brought to me too, right? It's like people are like and say shit like, "Oh, I look up to you," and I'm like, "Whoa,
hey.
Do you know me?"
Let me enlighten you.
Yeah.
Yeah, but it's always I've got more comfortable with certain things, and that's just one of them.
Yeah.
It's like that's legit. 20 years. That's legit. And April it'll be 23.
Holy shit!
All right. I can't believe that's my number.
That's awesome.
Yeah, it's pretty awesome. And Bob, he's like 28-ish.
He's about the same as Kevin or more than Kevin?
He is just ahead of Kevin.
Okay.
Yeah, so a couple years. So he got sober in 88, so you do the math and let me know.
88?
Yeah.
He'll have 29 years because that's when I was born.
Oh, dang! Oh, my God. I was wondering why are you looking at me like that? I remember the first time we were in a car and I had a sponsee and she was like at a home for like runaway girls and she was like 16 years old and then she was sitting in the back seat and he was like, how old are you? She was like, oh, I'm 16 and he was like 19 years sober at the time. He was like, oh my God, I've been sober longer than you were alive. So bizarre.
Yes. That's awesome though.
It's a trippy thing. Like when you get there, you're like, oh shit, already?
For me, I've always gravitated toward people with more time. Like I didn't, like I have friends who have around the same time as me, and of course, but I'm always like, I want to be like them. I'm gonna go hang on to them.
That's what they say is that you become the average of the 5 people that you spend the most time with.
Yeah.
So I think it's important that there's the other saying that you should never be like the smartest person in the room, and you should always try to be surrounding yourself with, as much as you can, people that have something to teach you.
Yeah.
And really, I think at the end of the day, everybody knows something that you don't. So it's always good to pay attention.
Oh, yeah.
Super cool.
That's exactly how I feel. That's why I like hanging.
I know. So, why don't we wrap up the podcast? I've been wrapping up with the question, the podcast is called ODAT.
Yeah.
Right. So, how do you stay sober one day at a time? Do you have like a daily routine or do you have like a weekly routine?
I don't think I have a set routine. Like I'm not
super regimented.
I'm not super rigid about it, but I do have a routine. Like if that makes sense.
Yeah. Sure.
I have to go to a minimum of 3 meetings a week.
Okay.
Preferably more, but life sometimes doesn't allow that. And 2 of those meetings for me need to be women's meetings.
Okay.
I actually learned that from my husband because I remember the first time he chaired, he was like, I go to men's meetings.
I know, the men are so funny about that.
And he like listed the addresses and I was like, this guy's awesome. I want to be with him.
He is a sexy beast.
He is. I love him. And I was like, maybe I should try a women's meeting. People have been saying that to me, and now I've found women's meetings that I really love, and like it's a place to get real, right?
Yeah, for sure.
I don't think I could be as real even right now. If you were Bob, I'd be like, I don't want to share half this shit with you.
Right.
Yeah. I pray daily, like throughout the day. I can't say that I'm great because at waking up first thing and dropping to my knees because I need my coffee.
Okay, it's totally legit. Yeah, you really get that one.
But like on the way to work, and it's just always let me do your will.
Okay,
that's been what I've really been working on is gaining my connection back to my higher power. I think it went away for a little tiny bit, and I got it back. It's let me do your will, God. At the end of the night, I thank him for another amazing day. I reflect on some things that I probably could work on.
Okay.
I make it a point to be in contact with someone sober. Well, most of my friends are sober.
Right.
At least one a day. I'm not great at talking on the phone, but texting is amazing.
I know, right? What did we do?
Yeah.
I'm like, somebody calls me, I'm like, you weirdo. Text me like a normal person.
And like those are the things I do. I'm trying to stay present is really what I'm working on. I've been future tripping a lot, or past tripping. I don't think that's a word, but I like to
get it though.
Yeah,
Reminiscing.
Not anything good, right? But like reminiscing on like all my mistakes and obsessing over that. So trying to balance that out and keep it in the center. I'm really not great at meditating. It usually ends up in a nap.
Oh my God, I always say that.
But just being aware, right? And just
being present.
Putting my first sponsor always told me, like when I first got sober, I was like, what do I do? And she's like, just one foot in front of the other, left foot, right foot. Just keep walking like that. And that's what I still try to do. And my big thing too is right now is trying to reach out more, especially to women or people in relationships and stuff. Like I'm really good at staying in my bubble, and I'm trying to push out more.
That's good,
because
growing.
Yeah, and that lonely feeling. I was like, I didn't get sober to just feel alone and isolate. So we need to switch it
connect.
up. Yeah,
we really need to connect.
Yeah, totally.
And be a part of and recognize that we have a new normal.
Yeah,
and we have legions of people who get it.
Yeah.
So and it does feel good to be useful.
Yes, it does, and it's great to laugh, right? I laugh all the time.
Oh my gosh, your husband! Oh my, I cannot wait to get him on the podcast. He is literally,
oh my God,
he's one of the funniest people I know.
I think that's what attracted me to him.
He's hilarious.
He is.
Yeah, laughter is great medicine.
Yeah. And, just finding people that that connection to of being like real, like not having those superficial relationships that I had most of my life.
Right.
Having those people I can get deep with, like not all the time, right? It's not like every time it's
but
like,
when it comes out.
Like when I'm having a moment and I need to talk about how I'm having this moment and like I'm feeling like shit and all these things, and this is what's going through my head, and have someone else be like, I get you.
Right.
I get that.
Yeah, you can see it in someone's eyes when they really get you, and for whatever reason, it like puts it to bed, it resolves it. It's so cool.
Yeah.
That's the magic of the program.
Right? That connection, that no longer feeling alone.
Yes, absolutely. And being useful.
Yeah.
Very cool.
Yeah.
Well, listen, thank you so much for coming.
Yeah, I feel like I've talked so much, but
me too. Ooh, I'm supposed to be interviewing you, not talking. I'm sick of myself already. But thank you so much for coming. It was a great conversation. I really appreciate it.
Of course. Thank you so much for having me. I really appreciate it. It was great.
Thanks so much.
Yeah.
Okay.
Thank you for listening to ODAT Chat. Please visit odatchat.com for more episodes, to leave feedback or suggest topics and guests. Until next time.